5-gallon buckets. They are super useful. Whether you're using for storage, painting, washing your car, maybe you need to plant some vegetables, you could do them as planters, and your standard trash cans. They are super useful. The great thing about them is there are a bunch of accessories you can add to these to make them even better. So let's check some of these out. For the first accessory, let's look at the lids. Now, if you've ever accidentally put one of these lids on just a little bit too tight, it can be a challenge to get into, especially if you use this for, let's say, dog food or birdseed, maybe charcoal or any kind of dry storage. It can be a real challenge to get into these often, especially if you've, well, stood on one of these. That is going to be a real pain in the rear end to try and peel this off. And that's when I discovered a screw top lid. You literally just take the bucket lid off, put this in its place, and seal it down. It has the standard gasket going around the outside edge, and instead of trying to peel it off when you need to use it, you literally just unscrew it. You keep the normal ring around your bucket, and this is easy access in and out. And just in case you're wondering, the top screw top actually has its own seal going around it, so once you have it fully in place, you are now sealed off from the outside climate. Moving on to number 2. Have you ever been camping or maybe on a construction site or just driving down the road and you had an emergency bathroom break, but there's nowhere to go? Yes, I know it's a disgusting topic, but we all do it, so bear with me. In fact, let me show you something that I don't believe I've ever shown anybody else before. In the trunk of my vehicle, I actually have a 5-gallon bucket that I keep there at all times, just for those emergencies. Now, if you've ever tried to sit on the thin rim of a bucket, that can be very uncomfortable. That is when I purchased a toilet seat that is specifically designed for a bucket. Okay, yes, I know this can be disgusting, but this is a lot nicer to sit on than this. So, the next time nature calls, you can get the job done. For number 3, I like using a bucket whenever washing my car. So, I wanted to see if I could find an accessory that would help with that, and I found this. It's called a grit trap. I've never used one before, so let's open it up and see how it works. Now, this is supposed to fit down inside of a bucket, so let's give it a shot. I do like the 5 little finger holes there, that makes it easy. And it fits in there nicely. This tool has 2 main uses. First off, it helps to separate any dirt and grit whenever you're washing your vehicle, so that that dirt and grit falls to the bottom of the bucket and you don't put it right back on your scrub brush or whatever you're using to wash your vehicle. Secondly, whatever you're using to wash your car, you can then rub across the top of this and it'll also help separate that dirt from your rag. This is a cool little accessory, but we also thought of a couple other ways to use this. If you happen to be out camping and you use a bucket to wash your clothes, guess what? Stick this in the bottom and that'll also keep that sediment away from your clothes as you're washing them. Also, if you happen to be out maybe gem hunting and you need to rinse away a bunch of debris off of whatever you're looking at, again, separates all that stuff, makes it a little bit easier to discover things. Now I have a lot more to show you, but just in case you're interested in any of these products you've already seen or that'll be coming up, I'm going to put a link to those in the description, so make sure you check those out. For number 4, I wanted to find something else that would either help you wash your car or just help with maintenance around the house, and that's when I found the bucket dolly. So maybe you're thinking, wait, I don't need a dolly for a bucket, I'll just pick it up and move it. Well, some people either have bad backs, bad shoulders, or maybe they just don't have the ability to pick up heavy objects, especially when a bucket is full of water or other stuff. And that's when a dolly can be very handy. Now, I purchased this particular dolly because it has the extra little holders around the side so you can put soap or whatever you need. So now we need to install the casters, and I believe that's what's in here. Ooh, I like that. That's nice. That moves real easy. I also like the additional screw downs here, so once you have a bucket in place, these screw down so that it holds the bucket, and the bucket does not move very easily. It has a total of 3 of them, and let's see if this works. Oh yeah, look at there, awesome. Now, in the process of looking for a dolly, my wife brought up a good point. What about a plant holder? This is a common wire plant holder. It has 3 casters on the bottom and it can hold a bucket. The only downside is it is not very stable. It doesn't have a way to actually hold the bucket so you can lift it up and bring it itself. And, well, it doesn't have any accessory holders to hold any of your extra stuff. So I wouldn't even consider comparing this to this dolly. It is just a night and day difference. I found a great way to save you some money. Buckets, just like everything else, are going up in price. But I just found a key way to save you almost 50% off all your future buckets. And I'll share that with you in just a moment. For number 5, I kept seeing these little holders that wrapped around your buckets that made carrying tools a lot nicer. Well, I never owned one, so I bought one. Let's check it out. Looking at this a little bit closer, it is sewed all the way around. So I'm guessing this slides over the bucket, and then I guess we stuff the top of it in. Let's do that. Let's first take the lid off, and then this should just slide right over. Oh, but I gotta remember to slide the handle, I guess this in between the handle here, if you can see it. And something like that. Now the edges here sit over the handle, so you know exactly how far it needs to go down, and then the rest of it, I guess, just goes down in there. Oh, there we go. That was simple and easy. This particular version has a ton of pockets, some smaller, some larger, so I added a few of my tools, and most of them fit pretty well, with the exception of the ones that have the really thick handles. That can be a little bit harder in some of these, but overall it fits nice. I really like the little metal piece here that you can put your tape measure on, and all the additional pockets on the inside. When I first saw one of these tool holders, I thought, that's probably just a gimmick. But now that I have one and I'm looking at it, well, I do like the ability to have everything nice and organized so you can find your tools real easily instead of having everything just stuffed inside the bucket. If you've ever tried that, that can be a pain because now you're just dumping everything out and you got to clean it up. But there is one issue I am having with this, in that once you have a bunch of tools in it, this thing could be quite heavy. Now imagine you're at your construction site and you're having to move this bucket around a lot. Well, that could be quite a bit of a workout. So I got a solution for that. And that's to go buy that dolly that I mentioned earlier. You can put both of them together and have the best of both worlds. My wife also had a couple great ideas for uses for this. It's not just for hand tools. You could put art supplies or maybe crochet hooks and whatever you need into the inside of here and carry those around as well. So it's not just for tools, it could be for crafting as well. For number 6, this is something I normally wouldn't buy, but I kept seeing it pop up over and over again. A mousetrap lid. So let's give it a try. Looking at the top of this paper, it says assembly required, and that is definitely for sure. But on the back of it, it does appear to have some decent instructions, so hopefully we can put it together easily. Looking at the instructions, this is really easy to put together. I mean, and I'm surprised how well the instructions actually tell you what to do. There we go, we're almost done. You probably like how quick this is. This is a really nice setup, for simple as it is to put together. You have the little ladder that brings the mice or rats up. You have a little, what they call a windmill. You put your little bait or peanut butter on, and as they go inside, they fall in. Now this has an end cap on each side with a small hole in it so the mice can go in from either side, but overall, that's a really simple design. I like this. Now I'm not going to waste your time and show you trapping mice in here. If you want to see those videos, there's a bunch of them already on YouTube. But I do want to say this is safe, it's pet friendly, and it's sanitary. You catch the mice alive inside so you can discard of them however you wish. But overall, I think this is a great little idea that you should try out, and I think I'm going to use this tonight in my garage. Most of us have used the top of a bucket as a seat. Now, it works, but it's not very comfortable if you have to sit on it any length of time. So I bought a seat, but not any seat. This is supposed to be a swivel seat, so let's check it out. Now let's give this a spin. That just might work. Now this is supposed to fit on most buckets. You just put it in place and give it a push down. Oh yeah. Let's try this out. Now let's sit down. It's firm, but it's comfortable, and oh yeah. That's nice. I'm definitely taking this on my next camping trip. Just think about all the different ways you can use this. Camping, hunting, fishing, gardening, working on your car, coaching, just relaxing in your garage, and a whole lot more. Oh, and if you're going to use this outside a lot, they have a waterproof cover to go over the seat to help protect it. The next 2 upgrades you might already have at your home, so it won't cost you anything. Now go find one of your tool bags. If you don't have a tool bag, you can always get a duffel bag or maybe just a travel bag. But the main thing you're looking for is the strap that it comes with. Looking at the side of your bucket, right where your handle goes inside, a lot of times you have a little open gap underneath. So take your strap, hook it right there underneath on both sides, and now you have a great way to carry your bucket hands-free. And the best part about it is that in most cases it won't hurt the handle. You can just take the strap off and use it as a normal bucket. If you have an old bucket or just one that carries a lot of weight, you know these handles are not very good and don't last very long. Plus Plus, if it is a lot of weight, it's definitely gonna dig into your hand. But I have a great upgrade for you. You want to take an old piece of pipe. This just happens to be PVC, but it can be any kind of pipe. And you want to cut it to about 4 inches long because that's usually what is allotted for your handle. Then you want to slide out one side of your handle. Keep in mind that every manufacturer is a little bit different in its design, and be careful so you don't accidentally break your bucket. Slide on your pipe and then reattach your handle, and now you have a handle that's a lot nicer on your hand and is a lot stronger. It's now time for the big reveal. The big secret on how I get buckets for half off the retail store. You go to a local retail store, get a bucket with a lid, it's going to cost you $6 to $8. Where on the other hand, I get a bucket and a lid for $3. So where do I get them for $3? That would be Firehouse Subs. They're a local franchise and they are growing. So if you don't have one in your area, expect to see one soon. The great thing about this is that when you buy these buckets, that money that you spend goes back into their nonprofit foundation. It's a public safety foundation that goes out to help people. So, not only are you getting a bucket for less than half that you can get in a big box store, you're helping others. And one more thing, a lot of people don't think about the type of buckets, especially if you plan on putting food in them. Some buckets are not food rated, but these buckets actually carry their pickles, so they're already good quality enough to carry food products, and you should be able to use them as the same. And there are a bunch of upgrades that you can do for your buckets to make them a lot more useful. Now, if you have any other suggestions, put those in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. So I hope this inspires you to get out and have fun with your buckets.